Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video, I'm very excited because I have the brand new palette from Huda Beauty. It is the Icy Nude Palette, and she announced that this is going to be her last large palette. Now, I wasn't around, I really wasn't into makeup and beauty when she started and when the first palettes came out, but I actually got one of my first Huda Beauty palettes in, I think, an Ipsy bag, and it was desert, I don't know, desert dusk or something like that. But anyway, and I fell in love with the brand, and since then I have pretty much all of the large palettes. I'm going to be doing an eyeshadow declutter soon, but I am very excited for this one. I do like these, however, they are larger than I prefer. These are 18 shades, so I have it upside down. These are 18 shades. I kind of like that 12 to 15 is kind of my sweet spot. That 15 mark is kind of where I feel like it's getting a little too large. So even though it's not that much bigger than the Natasha Denona, you know, I don't know, I guess looking at 18 shades is a lot, but this is gorgeous. This is definitely, and this is not necessarily a color story that I would gravitate towards, but I think it's very unique. And the fact that I even tried to like look at what palettes I had that would compare to this, and I really don't have anything. It definitely has bits and pieces from other palettes. Like part of it actually is kind of like the Xenon palette from Natasha Denona with the, you know, silvers and whites and stuff. But then, you know, you've got some neutrals and burgundies. You got a little bit of kind of rosy pinks, definitely a cool tone palette, but I think it goes with the name Icy Nude. I think it's a very unique color story. So very excited to try it out today. This is also the first palette that's going to come out with the new logo. So they did change the logo, so that does have the new logo. And then also the packaging. I don't really talk about packaging too often, but I felt like this one was substantial. I felt like when I was comparing it to Empowered and Pretty Grunge, I felt like it was just a little bit more substantial and felt a little bit more luxe. You know, I don't know. That's just kind of my first impression. But they also are coming out with a couple new faux filter lip gloss shades, I think 3, and then 2 new blush filter shades. I think it's like latte and then cocoa something. It's like 2 like bronzy shades, which I'm very excited about. I love those blush filters. I have 3 of the 5 shades, and I really want the latte shade. So I'm really hoping whenever they go out. I did get this as courtesy from the brand, so very excited about this one. But I'm curious as to what this means by, you know, last large palette. Does this mean that she's going to like the 12 and 15 range, or does this mean she's going to focus on the 9 pans? I kind of feel like they're going to go to the midi range, not necessarily the 9 pans, but I could be wrong, you know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But let's talk about this palette. It states, well, one, it's going to be $69. It is already on Sephora. It's not for sale yet, but it's on Sephora and it's on Huda Beauty's website, so you can kind of sign up for, you know, early access. And it states, this Icy Nude palette is packed with innovative, buttery smooth, intensely pigmented shadows in various textures, from biolitters and mattes to molten and sparkly shimmers in shades of silvers, grays, platinum, nudes, burgundies, pinks, and whites for a totally icy vibe. So there's several different formulas in this palette. There are no like cream shadows. The last 2 palettes did have cream shadows. This one does not have any. And then the formula, so there's one duochrome metallic, which is a shimmery metallic for supercharged multi-chromatic glow. Then there's one biodegradable glitter, and this one kind of shook me, and I'll show it to you in a second. It is a plant-based biodegradable glitter for instant sparkle. And then there's 2 trio chromes, a luxurious crush flakes for serious shimmer, 3 foil shimmers, which we've had before, and I love her foil shimmers, softly blended with fine pearls for a foil effect. And then there is 11 velvety mattes, powerfully pigmented and velvety soft for a seamless suede finish. So the one thing I will say about the velvety mattes is, I'll show you, I did some swatches earlier today in the natural sunlight, and the shades are very varied. There's 2 of the darkest shades are somewhat similar, but I can see it, but on camera, it didn't really photograph the differences, but in person I could see them more. But the other shades, and that's, you know, there's 11 of 18 shades are mattes. There's a good variety, so there's a good mixture of mattes, which I really liked. I hate when there's like two shades that are so close that on the eye you're really not going to make a difference. So let's go ahead and take a look at the palette. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read out the shades, and then I will show you swatches that I did earlier in natural light, and I'm just going to show you kind of just the mattes in one photo and then the shimmers and everything in the other photo. So here we go. Okay, so starting with the top row, we're going to have Iced Out, a white duochrome metallic, High Life, a soft purple matte, Platinum silver metallic, Unapologetic, a burgundy matte, Faux Fur, a chocolate brown matte, Gold Standards, a bronze metallic. Second row, Avalanche, a white matte, Aurora, deep pink metallic, VVS, a sparkling pink metallic, Triochrome, Poised, a pink gray matte, She Rich, a deep brown matte, Cold Plunge, a neutral nude matte. And then the last row, we have IDGAF, pink matte. Then you have Bling, the silver bio glitter. That's the one we're going to talk about. Oneself, the light gray matte. Diamond Dew, a sparkly silver metallic triochrome. The Lavish, a dusty pink matte. And then First Class, a peachy matte. So those are the shades. And so let's talk about this bio glitter. So you're going to see here, when I actually swatched it, I was like, what is that? Because I didn't really have the list of what things are. So kind of show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. You know, I think on the eye, it's going to look really nice, but you know, swatching, it doesn't really swatch really well, but that's fine. But I think it's fine with the glitter. You know, I'm 48. I don't really wear glitter. I don't like it when there's like, that's why I stopped getting ColourPop. But this one's kind of, you know, I like sparkly. So this one doesn't really bother me. I'm just kind of curious how it's going to look on the eye. So I'll probably end the look with that to show you how it looks. So here are the swatches that I did in natural light. So here are the mattes, and you'll see with the mattes, I went from lightest to darkest, and I did try and group them into like color stories. So I did the white matte and then the pink matte, the first two. I did put the two grays together, and then I kind of went with the neutrals. I went from, you know, lightest to darkest there. So I thought there was a really good mixture. The two brown ones is a chocolate brown matte and a deep brown matte. They actually do have a different undertone in person. You just don't see it so much on the swatch. They are fairly close, but one is definitely the second one, She Rich, is much deeper. Now we're going to go to the shimmers. So here are the 7 various shimmers. That Iced Out shade, the white duochrome metallic, is so cool. It is so cool. I'll show you on how it swatches in a second. That second one is that biodegradable glitter. Again, interesting shade. And then you have the other ones, the foils. I think these are beautiful. I also like that they all stick to that icy theme. However, they still stick to that icy nude theme. So you've got like this kind of rosy one and, you know, a champagne one, and then you've got that platinum one. So I really like this color story. Now, I am not big on grays, blacks, whites, etc. The white one, this is one that I probably won't use much. I'll probably, you know, use it, you know, in the inner corner and stuff, or to like set the eye, but probably that's going to be the extent of it. I just don't really use those types of shadows. I could be wrong. You know, sometimes I've been surprised. Now this Iced Out shade, let me kind of show you here. It's kind of like this like purpley. I don't know if you can see that. It's just so cool. So I'll show you how it just swatched. Like that one, that's a shade I just thought was so beautiful. different anything that I had. So I also did want to compare to some other palettes, but as I pulled up my palettes to see like which ones it compares to, there's elements of the palette in other palettes, but nothing, you know, like I said, it's some of it, like the whites and the silvers and the grays kind of reminded me of Xenon, but that's it. So I picked 3 palettes I thought were the closest, which was the Rose Quartz, the Glam palette from Natasha Denona, and the I Need a Nude palette. So here are all 4 together in a picture. I didn't do swatches, but you'll see Rose Quartz at the top left-hand corner. The bottom left-hand corner is Icy Nude. The top right-hand corner is Glam, and then the bottom right-hand corner is I Need a Nudes. So there's definitely some elements of each palette in this palette, but again, it's very, very different. It's got the silvery, it's got the white, and just a very different vibe. So I think this is a very unique color story, still neutral and stuff. So I do think this color story is pretty innovative in comparison to what is out there. Now, I'm still unsure about how you feel about the Bio Glitter, but it's only 1 shade, and yeah, I think this is very unique. Now, would I have picked this out if I was just shopping for myself? I don't know, because I'm more warm, you know, I lean more warm, I like warm palettes. So this one though, if you kind of look, it's definitely kind of got some, you know, warm shades here. So it's definitely a different variety. You've got like this pink one here, so definitely a good variety, but I think it goes with winter. And you know, I think the theme of the palette, but would it be something that I would have picked myself? I don't know, just because I lean more like warm, but I also can't resist a really pretty palette, and this is a really pretty palette. Okay, so I am just going to do 1 look today because I think that the mattes are all pretty similar, and you're not going to get, you know, a huge variety in that. I'm going to try and do I want to use that white shadow, that white duochrome, because that one is just so neat. And then I will kind of end it with a little bit of the Bio Glitter so that you can kind of see it on. So I'm going to try and go something out of my element, and that is doing more grays and silvers. I will say these 2 foils, when I received the palette, were a little bit lifted. It kind of had bubbled, but they were intact. So when I got it, I just kind of pressed it down a little bit to make sure that it was pressed down. But I would just be very careful if you see that it's bubbled a little bit, just make sure you press it down when you receive it, because I have received palettes in the past, and those particular shadows are the ones that I think arrive broken the most. So what I'm gonna do is I am just going to go in, and I'm gonna start with this One Self, which is the light gray matte, and I'm going to start with that one, and then I'm going to go in with Poised, which is the pink gray matte right here, and start with that. So I'm going to start with those 2 shades and go in the transition and just go from there. Again, if you're watching my channel for the first time, and because I think I am one of the first, I don't think I'm the first, but I think I am one of the first. I am not a makeup artist. I just like beauty. I just like to try it on, but I do try and try on as much shades as I can if there's going to be a big difference. But I don't do tutorials because you don't want to take a tutorial from me. So that right there is the light gray matte. So that's just the light gray matte. So it's very, very light. What I'm going to do now is go in with the Poise shade, which is the pink gray matte. And I'm going to just go lightly in the crease as well. So I wanted to just show you a little bit. And then I'm going to go lightly with this one. I can always build it up. Now, Huda mattes are great. They're not my favorite. I think I prefer the Natasha Denona formula more, but I do think it's a good formula and it's easy to work with. And the other day when I used the Pretty Grunge palette, I remembered how good her palettes really are, her formula is. So I'm going to show you really quick what the difference is between these 2. Now I am layering them, but I did want to show you. So that is the pink gray matte, and that is the light gray. So I'm going to go off camera and just even up the eyes, but that's the difference, so you can kind of see the difference on the eye. Okay, so here is the Poised shade on both eyes. Now I'm going to go in with that She Rich shade, which is the darkest matte in the palette. It is described as a deep brown matte, and it's kind of looks like it has like a gray or cool undertone. So I am going to go very lightly, and I'm going with this one as opposed to the other one just because it does seem to have more of a cool undertone, whereas the other one seems to have more of a warm or a neutral undertone. So I'm just gonna go ever so lightly on the outside of the eye and bring it in a little bit just to kind of deepen the outer edges. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the shade Diamond Dew, which is described as a sparkling silver metallic trio chrome. By the way, there's what my light looks so far. So this one I am going to take with my finger because these break apart. These are very, very delicate, and I find that these apply best with the finger. So, and they do tend to have a little bit of fallout. So if you can do your makeup first, that's always better. But I mean, look at that shine. Like, look at that, that's amazing. And this shadow, yeah, definitely some fallout, but I can clean that up easily. So you can always, if you want to put foundation, you can always just not do your concealer. That will usually, I just usually, when I'm like going out, I will do my eyeshadow first, but that's stunning. Okay, so there was quite a bit of fallout, I will say that, but that's to be expected, not surprised. And then what I would say is these are always can be a little bit chunky. So you kind of have to smooth it out. And then what I usually will use is I will use a primer or a glitter glue to help it stick when I'm using something like this that is just soft, especially these two shades, the Diamond Dew and the shade VVS. I think those are the two that kind of go that way. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this iced out shade, the one right here, and I'm gonna put that on my little finger, and then I'm gonna go in the inner corner and see if I can get that on there. Now that I love this, this might be my favorite shade. It is so cool. I think it's just such a beautiful color. Yeah, that one is really, really cool. So I'm gonna put that on both sides, and now I'm gonna go in with this glitter. So the shade Bling, like I said, it's kind of a glitter. It doesn't really go, but I'm gonna try and put it on top just so that you can see it and see if it just adds anything to this. And actually, no, you're not gonna be able to see it. So that's on the finger. So I will probably with that particular thing, with the glitter, I will watch other people that are more talented than me and see how they use it. But I love this. Now this shade, it's kind of like purpley. It kind of doesn't really go with, I don't really know how much it goes with what I did, but I think it looks really pretty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put some mascara on and then come back and give you my first impressions, final thoughts. Okay, so I just put a little mascara on. I actually didn't even touch up my my eyeshadow. So I actually really like this. This is not a color story I would normally go with, but I do like that it's very, very versatile. You are going to be able to get, like if I were to go on vacation, I'm going to be able to get several different looks. They're all going to be in a nude, you know, kind of format. But I could get like a very silvery platinum eye look, which is kind of what I did. You can go with the rosy one. There's some rosy shades here. Or you can get like, there's even some kind of warmer shades here. So you could really get a variety of different looks with just this one palette, which is really unique because with the exception of that mega palette from Pat McGrath, most palettes these days kind of are monochromatic. Like you have the, I need a warm, I need a nude. This is gonna give you quite a few different looks within this palette, which I really like that. I think you're gonna get like very different evening looks too. Like you've got those, that shimmer and stuff. I will say you're probably gonna need a glitter glue. At least I know I have a glitter glue and I will use that. I have the one from, I think it's NYX. It's like a glitter primer and it works really well just to kind of help set these types of shadows, which really helps and works. Now this is $69. It's really pricey and there's so many palettes out right now. You have the Natasha Denona one that's coming out. That's going to be coming. I got it today too, but I decided to do this one first. And there's just a lot of selection out there. So I was fortunate to receive this courtesy of the brand. But I would have purchased it just because I have all the other palettes. But I would say is If I weren't on YouTube and trying to do a review, I would wait until the Sephora sale or wait until Black Friday. Now, will this one be on sale for Black Friday? Who knows? But Huda usually does a good sale on Black Friday and will get you like 20. So if you are not a rouge on Sephora, I am not. So I can get 15%. 15% is going to get you a little more than $10 off, which will bring it under $60. But if you're at the 10% mark, then yeah, wait for the Huda Beauty sale. I think usually she does 20 or 30% off, even on the new palettes. So remember that with Pretty Grunge, she did that last year. So I do like it. I would just say wait for a sale. You don't need it right away. If you wait for a sale, you'll still have it in time for the holidays. And I think it's gorgeous. And her palettes never sell out, or if they sell out, they don't sell it for very long. And I don't find that palettes are selling out really anymore, maybe because they're just getting so expensive. So I would say I definitely recommend it, but just wait for a sale so it's a little more affordable. But, and then maybe there'll be a nice little package with like the blush filter or the lip gloss. I think that would be great too. I really want the latte blush filter. So anyway, with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.